Meltdown presents The Disney Click with Rick and Briers. This podcast is sponsored by Meltdown Comics and Collectibles in Hollywood, California. Find Meltdown on meltcomics.com.
Hey guys, welcome to the Disney Click. It's Rick. I'm here with Briers.
That's me.
Yeah, and Briers wants to call this episode the Great Pixar Episode.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. So it's happening.
This is in honor of the Good Dinosaur being out this week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And
hope you're all enjoying a lot of food and relaxation and break from work and everything.
And
and going to see the Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, this is I think Briers' dream episode in a lot of ways.
I feel like I'm dreaming right now. This doesn't feel real.
This is all Pixar all the time.
I'm hallucinating. Is this happening? I'm pinching
feels
myself.
Like whenever I'm around, it kind of feels like a dream, doesn't it?
No.
No, okay.
Nope.
But you know how to
feels
make
like
a guy feel
reality.
good. Harsh, cold reality.
Rick's here.
Wonderful. On that note, the Good Dinosaur is out, and we have yet to see it upon this recording. But I'm hearing. Have you heard early word about this? I know by this time people have seen it and stuff, but I've heard relatively good things about it. I haven't heard like glowing inside out type things about it.
Yeah, they're not marketing it the way they definitely marketed Inside Out like the second coming of animation, and they're not.
Well, but I don't think it's the marketing. I think people have seen it. Like at this point, we're recording this a few days before the episode. Before the movie comes out.
But I still haven't heard. I haven't heard much.
I saw
from
a review.
People that have seen it.
I'm not sure, Hollywood Reporter or Variety or something.
Positive?
They said it's good. They said the setting is beautiful, and it's a good movie, but it doesn't surprise you. It doesn't innovate the way that Pixar. And this is, mind you, one or two reviews I've read. So it was. I would definitely call it positive. I just wouldn't call it glowing like Inside Out was.
Mm-hmm. And I've spoken before about my nerves or reservations associated with the Good Dinosaur, and just coming from, if you look at the history of this film is interesting in and of itself. That it was supposed to be the film to follow Monsters University, and it was supposed to have come out before Inside Out. And it got pushed back on two different occasions. It changed directors one time, I believe. That could have even been twice. So poor little film. Like it's kind of been through the ringer, and it's struggled. And Pixar has stuck with it, and true to their name of high quality film, rather than just release it when it's ready. DreamWorks. They've really taken their time, and I mean maybe it still is struggling for that reason, because it's been through so much and so many drafts. I'm still excited to see it. I saw the extended preview at Disneyland and the It's Tough to Be a Bug Theater, and found it charming and was excited.
Isn't
And the music, I can't recall who is doing the music for it, but they had some score that isn't in the trailer, like extended moments, and it sounds like it's going to be a great soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't say that it's up there feeling super excited about it, but I have faith in Pixar. I have faith that I can go to the movie and I'm going to be entertained.
Pixar we trust.
I might be moved, I might not, but I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to feel like it's hopefully going to speak to me on an adult level, as well as a level my kids can understand and enjoy, and that's what Pixar is about for me. So I am not making my personal judgment. I know how I'm feeling going into it. I've seen the sprinkling of, by the time you hear this, there will be the reviews will be out, and everybody will have their opinions on this, I believe. So does it come out what day? Is it the 20th or 25th it comes out?
I guess the 26th, because it's on Thanksgiving Day.
No, it is the 25th it comes out. I think
it can't come out on the day of?
So that's a Thursday, and they'll release it on Wednesday or Friday usually. They usually don't do a
West Coast thing.
No, it's everywhere. The national release
I thought it was Thanksgiving Day, but
no, I think it'll be a Wednesday or
because they always say Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
in
but
trailers
they say Christmas for Star Wars, and that's the
18th.
So
right.
It's anyway, so
Any whoosies.
if you have or haven't seen it, we're curious to know.
Check your local newspaper, folks.
And I'm sure in a future episode we will have our
Yes,
thoughts on it
yeah,
once
for
we see
sure,
it.
for sure.
So, but in celebration of Pixar and the Good Dinosaur, we are going to our Disney list. It's like an all Pixar episode Disney list.
Boom.
We are ranking there. This is the 16th. The Good Dinosaur is the 16th feature of Pixar. So we are ranking from 15 to number 1 our favorite Pixar films.
At McDonald's or Burger King, they have the triple decker, and usually we do 5. This is 15. This is a triple top 5.
Right.
I just came up with that.
Supersize is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Supersized top 5.
Or for the In-N-Out people,
15.
This is the 3x3. The 3x3x3, 3x3, just 3x3.
Is that a thing?
I think you go up to like 12x12 at In-N-Out.
What?
I think so.
Did not know about that.
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong. They might have stopped offering like the 12x12, but I'm pretty sure you can get a 4x4.
America.
And more, right?
Welcome.
Yes.
Anyway. This is the great Pixar episode. In case you forgot. Not that it's going to be, I think personally it will be one of our best because we're talking about Pixar and you can't go wrong there. But more just like it's so expanded and it's all about Pixar.
Let's talk at the good Pixar episode, hoping it's going to be the great Pixar episode. But
clever,
let's not
great advertising for the Good Dinosaur.
Poor Pixar episode, okay?
Poor?
The bad Pixar episode? I'm just saying,
like the rich, the poor.
Well, okay. Poor and bad they're
okay.
kind of synonymous, aren't they? I don't know.
We're struggling with our title. It's losing steam.
Right.
It's the great Pixar episode. Cue the music.
So let's do it.
And now, the Disney List.
All right. Can I start with this one?
Please,
okay.
I would love that.
I have this one kind of gets an asterisk, number 15 for me, because there is a Pixar film that I haven't seen, so I have to put a 15. It maybe should be off the list. This is the one I haven't seen.
Yeah, I think it should.
Okay. But so this is 15 or off the list.
So maybe say you haven't seen it, and then.
So I'll be starting at 14. Are you okay with that?
No. Say
okay.
the one you haven't seen.
15th is Brave. I have not seen Brave.
You have a daughter.
Yeah, my wife took my daughter to see, which is very appropriate for what it's about and everything. So that was
how do you know what it's about?
Because I know what it's about.
Just seen the trailer.
You know, I know a little bit about it.
Just judged a book by its cover.
Yeah. So I'm sure Brave is going to be on your list.
Brave is really low on my list. I don't know why I'm getting so defensive of Brave.
What's your number 15?
Sorry, Merida.
What's your number 15?
So we're done. That's
we'll
Brave.
talk about Brave
okay.
when you hit it, because
I
don't have a lot
to say.
very soon.
It's not fair for me to, stay tuned, folks.
It's not fair for me to talk about.
Don't take a bathroom break.
It's not fair for me to talk about a movie I haven't seen.
Legit. My number 15 is Cars 2.
It's my number 14, so I'll say that.
Boom, boom.
Okay,
great.
You're with the booms tonight.
I know. I'm sorry.
With these booms.
You're
on a no boom the rest of the episode.
Ooh, okay.
Restriction here. You can say pow or ka-chow or something. I don't know, but no more booms.
Okay, and I'll come up with something that you're restricted to doing.
Okay.
Oh, being mean to me, or telling me words I can't say. That's You're done. You can tell me not to say boom. I won't.
Okay.
I was saying it in a different context there.
That's okay.
Kapow. Ka-ching. Well, that's ka-chow is good since we're talking about cars.
That's why I said it earlier. You don't listen to me anymore.
I don't listen to you.
I know.
Cars 2011 film, directed by John Lasseter, co-directed by Brad Lewis. John Lasseter is it's interesting. He's very invested in the Cars films, and Cars. Where to begin? The sequel was just it was all over the place. I think it's the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score of any Pixar film.
I believe you are right.
Yeah.
If that's the end all be all, it's probably the lowest rated.
Not that matters.
I mean, it's cute. My issue with it is that it's about kind of Mater and the spy game, and not that
Mater wasn't a strong enough character to do a spin-off of.
He's cute and funny in his own way, but I don't want to see a whole
you get tired of the Mater, and he's a Mater, and
it's cute. His shtick is cute for so long, and
it feels like it could have been a really good short.
Right. Well, they have those too. Not
Mater's
shorts.
Yeah,
right.
it's like Mater. Come on, you already have your own shorts airing on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, I would say that's this Cars 2 is probably the only film that I actually can say I really don't like all that
Absolutely.
much. Everything else on this list has a redeeming quality about it.
Even Brave. No, literally any other one I could pop in my DVD player, Blu-ray player, whatever. Watch it on. Well, none of them are on Netflix. But watch any of them, and it's a great night. And I think they're all very strong films.
Right.
Children aside, I mean,
Yeah.
they're just great.
My
movies.
son loves Cars too, so
Okay.
he's the right audience for it,
Yes,
and I'm glad
yes.
he enjoys it. But this is our list. This is
Yeah.
not the kids
is
list.
not
It's the grown-up kids
This
list.
is the grown-up list.
The grown-up kids list.
So yeah, so I don't even need to spend much
Okay,
time talking
yeah,
about it
so
because we're clearly not fans.
Right. That's my number 14. So you're number
My
14.
number 14 is Brave.
All right, perfect. So you
I
talk
warned
a
you it
minute
would
about
come up
Brave,
soon.
you know.
Yeah, and I didn't realize, like, I kept kind of, again, this just shows how I just think all the films are really great, but some, struggle more plot wise. I kept thinking, oh, Brave, I'll push it up a little more. Maybe it'll make 13 or 12 or 11, and I liked the others more. Brave is tough because it's the first film to feature a female lead. Pixar, that's one thing they do. They struggle having girls be their leads. And so, I was so excited to see it and to have it. She's the only Disney princess that has come from Pixar, one of the franchised princesses.
And she's really not thought of that much even now. I know she's officially a princess.
She has been, she had her official, coronation day at Disneyland, the whole shebang. I can say shebang.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm not telling you what you can't say. Just we got like
I
3
know.
or 4 booms,
Okay.
maybe more. That's I don't want to make you self-conscious about your booms.
I know, now I'm like, what am I allowed to say?
I want to say boom. I want to say boom. I can't say it. So you're
Yeah.
saying.
It just it's one of the few Pixar films that I watch, and it drags on a little, and the visuals. I know people always talk about the visuals of Pixar films. Are truly stunning. Like, they reached new heights with Scotland and the greenery. I could go on and on about her hair. It sounds crazy, but Merida's hair, you can literally see every
It has
strand
a life
and
of its
curl.
own,
I don't know
right?
how many animators.
It's its own character.
It really is. It really is. It's just it's funny, but it feels a little more funny, aimed at the kids, like kid humor. They're like her triplet brothers stealing cakes and stuffing their mouths and throwing the food. It just feels a little cheesier. Like, Pixar usually is aiming more highbrow with their jokes.
They can be cheesy, but they're not overwhelmingly cheesy. Usually.
Yeah.
Right.
Or there's a better mix. Like, there's something there for everyone,
Sure.
and it just isn't. It's just not as good as the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
So as much as I was like, how have you not seen it?
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you're not
sweet.
giving me
The
encouraging
mother-daughter
words.
storyline is very neat and special and sweet.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. My number 13. Now, I will say that my first, we're not counting Brave because I haven't seen that, but starting with Cars 2 down to my number 10, so that's 5, are sort of, Cars 2 might be in a category in itself, but these next 4 are movies that I like. I just don't really like them. It's fine.
Okay.
They kind of broken down into 3 categories for me, this list, and I'll let you know when we enter the next category of ones that I really like, but they're not my loves. But so this is my kind of like, and Briers is gonna hate me here. She probably knows what's coming because I know this one's gonna be high on her list. A Bug's Life.
Gosh.
A Bug's Life.
I can't.
Is my I know she really
I thought you were
loves
gonna say
them.
something else, and then I was wrong.
No,
Oh my gosh.
A Bug's Life. But you love a Bug's Life,
I
right?
love it. I just rewatched it recently
Okay.
and was reminded
All right.
and reassured of its brilliance.
That's why I had to preface this by saying that these are things that I like. I just don't
You're
really
squishing
like.
me.
I know. I don't know. I don't have the connection to
When
this
was
film.
the last time you viewed it?
I mean, I've seen
Never,
it
but in the last 5 years?
probably around that, maybe.
So you have
5
seen it?
plus. I've seen it in the past
Since
decade
your kids
for sure.
have been born with them?
Yeah. Well, I think we've watched it together. I can't remember
don't
everything I
sound that
watched. I've seen a
sure.
lot of movies with them, so. Yeah, well, I'm not going to sit here and say I've definitely seen. I remember I saw it on March 3rd, not 2010.
What do you not like about it?
Once again, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't think it's as good as a lot of their other films. So I think it's just, I don't know. Maybe the whole ants thing, spoiled it a little bit for me. I got overdosed on bugs and ants.
Too many bugs.
But
and
I think
1998 was a buggy year.
yeah, it was a buggy with the Woody Allen ants. I'm talking about the Woody
We
Allen
don't
ants.
need to
not
talk
the
about that movie.
Yeah, and I like Frances the Ladybug. Heimlich is kind of cute, but it's just okay for me. It just didn't connect to me.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry,
no, no.
Briers.
I know there's a film, a Pixar film that you love.
Oh, I know
that is
exactly what it's going to be.
not in my top 10.
Yeah, it's going to be it's either going to be a certain rat or a certain incredible family. I will say it's one of those two. Anyway, so
We have very different views on Pixar, so I like
we
this.
do.
This
It's
is great.
good. Yeah, so I'm sorry I know you're going to have a lot to say about
Yeah.
about A Bug's Life, 'cause I know that's one of your favorites.
Yeah.
What's your 13?
My 13 is Cars. And I when I first saw it, I didn't like it, and then I've watched it again, and I love parts of it. I love the sentimentality associated with the old traveling along Route 66 and that whole song, and when Sally is explaining to Lightning McQueen what it used to be like in the old days with that song and showing the maps. I love that. I love all of Radiator Springs, and I definitely love the film more since Cars Land, which I think we've talked about
Yes,
before.
Yeah, it helps it.
Yeah, Cars Land has made it a better movie in some ways. But I still I have to say Owen Wilson's voice grates on me a little, and I'm not annoyed by him when I watch him in normal films, but he's like a little like whiny, and like there's something the way he does his voice to portray Lightning McQueen, it gets annoying.
Right.
Ka-chow,
Right.
ka-chow, ka-chow. Like it's just very, you know what I'm talking
wow,
about?
you say it like that. It's
But
very
that
annoying.
is
I don't
what it
find it
sounds
annoying,
like.
but
Oh gosh, well, watch it again. I might have.
I've watched Cars quite a bit.
Okay,
That's
okay.
definitely Pixar movie I've seen a lot because kids. Once
That
again,
makes sense.
my son.
But I
really
don't know why
had a
you would
ca-
watch
had a
that.
Cars
Not
phase.
A Bug's Life more often.
I don't know. I can't because he likes cars.
That
and-
makes sense. As a boy.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a boy thing.
So it's I'll talk more about
Yeah.
Cars. Cars is a little bit higher up on my list. This next one, number 12, is one that I will get so flamed from so many people because this is one this is perhaps the definition of overrated Pixar edition for me.
Oh, I know what you're about to say.
This is
I
the
know.
definition of overrated Pixar film. You might not be the one you think. No, it's not up. It's Wall-E. It's Wall-E. People love Wall-E.
'Cause it's-
Love this film. It's
it's-
good, but it's not the
That's an opinion.
the bee's
That is an
knees,
opinion.
in my opinion. Of course,
Yeah.
it's an opinion. This is all our opinion.
But a majority of critics and
I get it. I find it.
Loved
I
it.
find it. The first part I find very dull, and the second part I find a little bit more of a feast, but it loses a little bit of its soul when So it's like
it
on
has
one.
so much soul.
I know it's a good film. It's a good Pixar film, but it's not as great as everybody wants to say it is. And I know it's like
That is a
hearsay
crime.
or
Yeah.
sacrilegious to say that and put it in the same category as Cars 2 or whatever else is on my thing. But I mean, it's better than Cars 2. It's much better than Cars 2. But I just don't feel it. I don't.
So you're and I'm
feel-
just
It's
thinking of
better.
I'm thinking of other movies you're putting above it, which
There's a lot of movies of it, but
Yeah,
I think
I
it's.
know.
I mean, just
Well,
how I feel.
interesting.
I think I don't know why I have this reaction. I love science fiction. I love robots and space, and I just it didn't. I don't love it. I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to love it more than I do, and I just don't. It was kind of.
I feel that with some other
Sure.
films. So
Right, which
yeah.
I'm sure you'll
and
talk to
and
shortly.
Wall-E is definitely a little higher up for me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, not like crazy higher
Yeah, I'm
up.
sorry out there. I know there's a lot of Wally love out there, so I apologize. Let me know.
Myself
Let me know.
included.
Okay. Let me know. Twitter at the Disney
Eve.
Click.
I love it. I love all
just
of that.
let me know. I can take
Okay.
it. I'm a big boy. All right, you're number 12.
My number 12 is Ratatouille, and I think we're just stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah, I'm not going to
maybe.
comment on it now because obviously that's one of my favorites. So
Yeah, and I think I always feel bad disliking it, or not disliking it, but that it's not one of my favorites because I love Paris so much. Have a lot of positive associations with France, and it's the only language other than English that I've ever learned in any capacity. I love.
you don't like food. That
No,
might hurt you
but-
a little bit.
No,
here.
I do love food. I love food in the Ratatouille sense. I love going out to restaurants and going. When I talk about
You
what
like
I
a
love,
night-
like
a night
Carthay
fillet,
Circle
a
and
night
Blue Bayou.
fillet or
Or like a salmon
or a piece of beef or a
or
piece of chicken.
scallops, mahi mahi. I love seafood.
Briers is a
Oh
vegetarian.
gosh.
Pescatarian.
Pescatarian. I eat
Pescatarian.
fish. Yeah.
That's the joke here. She's a pescatarian. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
My secret's out. Now everyone knows. But no, I love like eating out at it doesn't have to be like super fancy, but a nice like sit down dinner where you can have great conversation. I'm all about that. And so yeah, and I love France, and I don't know, I just never connected. It's another one kind of with Brave that for me it gets a little longer, and the humor isn't. It's funny in parts. I mean, it's very funny. It's just not maybe, as hilarious as some of these others.
I'm trying to resist talking too much about it, but I do want to kind of counterpoint a little bit that I appreciate. I will say that I appreciate Ratatouille because it is while it's a family film, I think it's probably one of the most, if not the most, adult film in the Pixar library. I think it's a little bit more. What's the word?
Sophisticated?
Well, not sophisticated might be the wrong word. It's a little bit more lower key. It doesn't go for. I know there are rats and there's a little bit more hijinks there, but
Yeah,
but
it's
if you
about a
really
rat.
if you get into the movie, it's not quite as like slapsticky and flashy as much as some other things are. It's with humans, and I've said I
But
feel
I
like
think
I'm saying
most
too much,
Pixar films aren't. None of them are
Well,
like slapsticky.
I disagree. I guess I think that there's a lot of them play. First of all, a lot of them take place in the world of bugs, in the world of dogs, in the world of Inside Our Mind, in the world
Dogs?
of monsters. Well, like Up, you have
It's the
dog.
world of dogs.
What I'm saying, but
it's a
they
human
play.
world.
Yeah, I'm just saying that they have Up's a bad
This
example,
is taking place in
but
a
the world,
rat
the world of
world.
toys, but it's very interaction with humans though as well. It interacts with humans.
Like Up.
Yeah, well, I said Up's a bad example. I
Oh,
kind of rescind
okay,
my Up,
okay,
but Toy
okay.
Story and Monsters and Finding Nemo. These are all things that are kind of high concept. And this, while it's not low concept, it exists much more in a human world, and it happens to have a rat in it, but it's a much more human story than you would think, considering it stars
Kind of,
a
yeah.
rat.
I
And
see where
that's
you're
how I
going
feel.
with it. Yeah, but
So.
he still is. It's still very. It's a rat's. It's a rat story.
I understand.
It's Remy's story.
Right. I don't want to talk too much. I mean,
Okay.
it's hard. I want to respond to it, and I
Yeah.
have responded a little bit to it, but I want to save a little bit of my
We have
pleasure
very.
for
It's
it.
so funny.
Yeah,
we're
different.
very like
I know we're going to
yin
come
and
together.
yang.
We're
We'll
going to come together for sure.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let me
let's do
go
this
on to
song.
my
Oh,
11.
Remy?
my
Just trying. Okay.
my 11. I think this is going to be somewhere soon on your list. Is Monsters University. I really enjoy the film. I enjoy the film a lot, but it's just I feel like it's not quite up to the Pixar standard. It's fun. I enjoy it. I like it. I think it might be a little underrated too, but I also think that it doesn't quite carry the torch of Monsters Inc. doesn't carry the torch the way the Toy Story sequels do, or the original Toy Story, and for that probably I knocked it down a little bit. I appreciate that it's kind of a fun film. It isn't too overly emotional, and it's just there to have fun. I do like that, and I give it points for that. But as far as we're starting to get into, we're almost at the point where, all right, these films are getting really good now, and I don't think Monsters University deserves a spot in that good to really good Pixar universe. So that's my number.
It'll
number 11.
obviously we're gonna have all of this is crossover,
Yeah,
so
yes.
it will come up again for me, but in a little while.
Okay.
I'm
Wow,
yeah,
you're a
not
big,
not that long.
Okay.
It's right at the cusp, but I am very fond of that.
Okay,
film.
yeah, I tough choices had to be made, and I thought that was
No,
the right spot
all
for
of
me.
this is from like 10 up, which we're almost to. It's like, oh my gosh.
But I get to like my top 5 or 4, and I know I can't tell you exactly the order, but they are clearly my top 4 or 5.
Oh yeah,
my
my top 6. It was like
you
no
knew.
questions.
Yeah, I didn't know the order, but I just knew that they deserve to be in there.
Well, my top 3 is
So I like Mike and Sully. I like the characters that we see in the fraternity. I think it's fun. I think it's just like a refreshing film. The Monsters University universe it's a little bit lighter, and I really do appreciate that. So I want to make clear that I'm not like harshing on
Yeah, I don't
Monsters
get that.
University.
I will talk about it
yeah.
when I
Okay.
Yeah.
You're number 11.
My number 11 is one that you really like, so I know it'll come up in longer
I know what you're gonna
capacity.
say. Yeah.
And that is The Incredibles.
Yep, I knew you were gonna say this. That's
It's
blasphemy. Brad Bird, you're hating
okay.
on Brad Bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I anything you say at this point, I'm like, you made a Bug's Life too low. You don't deserve to be at this table. No, no. The Incredibles. I know you love it, and I won't. And I like it fine. Again, all of these films we've made clear we like in some capacity. I don't know. It just doesn't connect. There's that. It's so interesting with these movies. They're all great, but there's certain ones, and I will say on a side note, one of my favorite things to do with friends sometimes is to make them rank their Pixar movies, and then I create like a combined list, and we rank. I'm very into ranking.
Didn't you make my
Pixar
daughter
movies.
do that once? Didn't you make her rank her Pixar films?
I probably did.
My
I wouldn't be surprised.
my
That sounds
7-year-old daughter at the time, or
not
8-year-old
out of
daughter-
character.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no, I've made most people I've come in contact with for long periods of time.
Is
I'm
that
like,
how you tell if you like them? or
yeah.
not? Okay.
If people make crazy moves like put a Bug's Life really low, I start to question things. No.
Okay.
But I love to see like certain movies, like some people are just like the Monsters Inc., Monsters U films, I'm there, or Finding Nemo, like that's my jam. Like everyone has their movie and their character that they just like super connect with. And I know Incredibles is up there for you. And I love it. It's very funny. All the family stuff and the superheroes. I really love it. I'm very excited for the sequel. It just, in some parts, it doesn't make me like over the moon
Right.
joyous.
Okay.
That's my.
All right.
Yeah.
I accept that. But look, we're gonna have
It's
different.
fun. It's
We're gonna have
campy.
different
It feels
people.
campy to me
Yeah.
in parts.
All right. Yeah,
Just a-
we're gonna have different. There's only 15 to choose from, so we got to put them somewhere, and this would be boring.
We're
if
still
we
only. We haven't
exactly-
even broken our top 10.
Yeah, that's true. And this is the last one that I would put in the sort of I like, but it's just I could think of a ton of other movies that
This is your 10 now.
This is my number 10. This is the last one where as I said, there's kind of three categories. There's the first grouping, which are good, but just not. I don't
feel
have
like
a love.
we could be together on this one. I'm optimistic
Oh,
for
really?
a chance, a brief crossover.
Huh. Okay. Possibly. Although we'll see. It's one of two. All right. I'm gonna go up. Up is all right. We're there.
10
We're there,
and
10
10.
up. All right,
Let's
yes.
high
All
five.
right, high five.
Did you hear that? Just one more time louder.
All right.
I don't know if we got the sound on that, but we just high fived.
Yes,
Twice.
Up. I've talked about Up several times. I think in the podcast. I think it's a very sweet film. There's a lot of good aspects. It has one of my favorite characters in Pixar, which is Doug. I love Doug. He's one of my favorite characters. It has one of my favorite songs.
The soundtrack overall.
Married Life is
But the whole,
one
yeah.
of my favorite songs. So it has two wonderful things that I love about this film. Doug and Married Life, the song, are just wonderful. That said, I think it's a film that lives off the first 20 minutes, half an hour. That emotional core is what people think about, and then from there, it's just kind of like it's okay.
It just gets long when they get into meeting I even like the middle, but when they meet the bad guy with the dogs and they're all on the blimp hanging off, it just is like
it's a good film, but it's not so amazing to me. It's not with the upper echelon of things that people really want to talk about, saying how great Up was. But I really think people refer to. They might remember Doug, but I really think they look.
The beginning is
the
outstanding.
beginning, yeah. But that doesn't make the movie.
But it still makes it fun to show. I showed it to some kids I was babysitting once for the first time, and to see like when the balloons first go up, to see their reaction was so cool.
Yeah,
because there is like magic in that.
Yeah, I say this
neat moments.
I said this back in a previous podcast, but it's kind of the Saving Private Ryan effect. We talk about Saving Private Ryan because that first half an hour is an amazing piece of film. It's so edge of your seat awesome. But the rest of the movie, while it's good, it's not great. But we think about that Normandy Beach part. That's a little bit how I feel. I mean, that's Up and Saving Private Ryan are very different films, but that's how I feel about Up. It really lives off of that first half hour, and then, as I said, I like Doug. So I don't know. You have any other further thoughts on Up?
Yeah, no, I mean, we clearly see it at the exact same level. A solid 10. It's in the upper 2/3 of the bottom of the upper 2/3, but still upper 2/3 of our Pixar list.
Pete Docter was, by the way,
yes,
you know,
2009. Pete
I feel bad I
Docter.
haven't been mentioning the directors
yeah,
here.
I'll try to continue. We can
John
try to
Lasseter,
do
Cars.
that.
John Lasseter, A Bug's Life. Andrew Stanton, Wall-E. Is it Dan Seaton for Monsters University, and Peter
And some of
Doctor
them
Up.
I'll
Okay.
say again.
All right, but those are the
Yeah.
ones that I. So
And
I,
Bob Peterson co-directed Up,
okay. Yes.
so we can give him credit.
Yep. And Andrew Stanton, I believe, co-directed A Bug's Life.
Uh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. There's so
A lot
many
of
names involved.
co-directors,
Yeah.
and
yes.
it's always like the same
Yeah.
people sometimes.
Right.
But for the good, no complaints.
Right.
Yeah, Up. Same thing. Beginning excellent. I do love the characters. The main two, and the bird that they meet. I don't even remember the names.
Not Doug. It's Kevin.
Kevin. See, I clearly don't rewatch it that much because it's not my favorite. But yeah, just everything you said, I agree with.
Into the reason why I think Married Life, it's the song that they play during the montage with Carl and his wife, is that they play it on Main Street. You'll hear it on Main Street in Disneyland, and probably Walt Disney World, I would guess. But it's such a sweet song, and I think I not only associate it with Disneyland, but I also associate it with the movie, and it just takes me to a place.
Oh my gosh, you just see those visuals of them building their house, and
and then the rest of the movie happens. And you're like, okay, it's good.
Yeah, it is a fine film.
We're beating a dead horse.
Yeah,
I was trying to think of a horse Disney character.
Pun? Oh,
but I can't think of the one from Tangled is the one that came.
Get a horse?
No, but what's the horse from Tangled? I can't remember. Maximus, was it Maximus?
Yes, Maximus.
We're beating a dead Maximus here.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
that's what I was trying to do.
That took a while.
Yeah, it took for
Apologies.
so little payoff. Anyway, so number 9. This is where for me they start getting. These are really good films that I like. They're not the upper echelon, but they're really good films.
For sure.
And this is one that you already mentioned, which is Cars, the first Cars. I think this is a film that sort of has gotten a little bit. People don't look upon quite as fondly. I think maybe it's the merchandising machine. Maybe it's they just something about it doesn't connect with them. But for me, it really is sort of a nice tale of the evolution of America and American roads and the West and simple.
That's my favorite part of it. That element, yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's some great characters too. I think it sets the mood nicely for the West, and I really think it's it really is a lot better than people tend to remember. And I know Lightning McQueen, you said, is not your favorite, and Mater is a little grating.
Voice. It's just the voice.
But it's a sweet story.
Ka-chow.
And I also personal connection. My son was on a Cars kick for a little while. Not as much anymore, but I mean he likes Matchbox Cars, but the movie Cars he really enjoyed. So I think that's where
he
it gets
and
a big
every
place.
other
Yeah, right.
boy.
So I think that's a big part of.
I think they will make Cars movies for a while.
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
merchandise.
so. Well, Cars 3 is coming. I think
Which
Cars
is
3 is
which
the
should be
apology.
interesting.
It's got to be better than Cars 2.
It has to be.
It's got to be better than Cars 2.
And
I
hopefully
trust
it
them.
returns back to Lightning.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what they do. I trust them. It might not be the best up there Pixar, but I think the good news is people have low expectations that I think it really could.
That's true. You're
well,
like,
I mean, Pixar has pretty high expectations. So that's the one franchise that I think people just are sort of like,
have let go of.
like I don't need to see another Cars 3. And I kind of feel the same way too. But
Mm-hmm.
your number 9.
My number 9 is this last one, Inside Out, which when I first saw it, I in my head was like, I feel like I would plug it right, like middle of the 15 films, and
No love for Peter Docter, by the way.
No, he pops up like semi high for me.
Okay, all right, I know what it's obviously going to be.
Pete Docter.
Right? Pete Docter. So I say Peter.
And I actually
Pete
do
Docter.
I like you see a through line with his films. There's a lot of heart, like extreme heart in his. He's Up, Inside Out, and the Monsters Universe. Well, Monsters Inc. the first one, and they're all 3 of those are like tear jerkers, like very emotional core. So that's how I plug Pete. But Inside Out, we've talked about it before. Just had such high expectations, and I did love it. I found it so funny. It just didn't live up to my expectations, and I wanted and it's such an original concept. I wanted more, And but I still love it as a film. I think 9 is a great in the Pixar world. You've beat out 6 other films.
a
Like
9
if I
is
made a
good on
film,
Pixar
a
world.
Pixar movie, and people ranked it 9, I'm like, okay,
Right.
that's well done.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about it. It's coming up soon on my list.
Okay.
So there's one in between, I will say. My number 8, which is, I do feel this way, but I also know that we're getting into your wheelhouse too. Here is Toy Story 2 is my number 8. These are all good films.
You just said magic words.
What, Toy Story?
Toy Story.
Toy Story. These are all good films. So Toy Story.
From here on out, you mean?
Yeah, well, starting with Cars, frankly. So any of these
same.
are
I would
very
say
good.
I would say starting with Inside Out.
So it's not quite as kind. Toy Story 2 is a wonderful film. Has a lot of good things going for it. I just think I have a soft spot for 1 and 3 more. So therefore, 2 sort of becomes the middle child, the redheaded stepchild, whatever analogy you want to make. It's just it's a very good film, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of forgotten a little bit for me. I know it's where Jesse's introduced, but it's forgotten a little bit for me
and
because Bullseye, yeah, but
and the Prospector.
A Prospector to me is Kelsey Grammer. Fine. It's just
Great performance.
I think Jesse is one who's become a part of the Toy Story crew
Al.
more so. Al.
Clearly, like
right.
deep entrenched in Toy Story.
I like Toy Story too.
Yes,
I feel like
the story
I had to
behind
order.
it, and I can hit on it more when it comes up on my list. Is interesting. It's amazing. It's as good of a film. I mean, it's great.
It was supposed to be a video, a direct-to-video.
Okay, we'll do it now.
Yeah.
You gonna do it now?
No, go ahead.
It was supposed to be direct to video, and because Pixar was refusing to do sequels, but Disney was demanding sequels of them, and then John Lasseter literally had to cancel his vacations and step in as director. He was going to take a break because he was so exhausted from doing Toy Story and A Bug's Life back to back. And they had a dodgy script, had scrapped it in a matter of weeks. I mean, they cranked out the film, which I think it doesn't, if you watch it, it doesn't feel that way. And I'm so amazed because I think it's so good. It's so funny still.
Had it been done now, I think we would have noticed more. But back then, it's the third film to come out, right, in the Pixar universe.
Yes.
So I think you still had sort of this, wow, it's new and what are they doing? And I think that helped it a little bit at the time.
Yeah, but they continue on the storyline. It's so seamless that, Andy and the family have just moved into the new house. It's only a relatively, maybe a few months, and just everything. It's just so well done.
Yeah.
And that it's this time it's Woody's film, which I love. The first one is Buzz. And this time it's Woody's backstory, which is such a great backstory.
Right.
I love it.
Once again,
Woody's Roundup.
It's number 9 just because I had to put it somewhere. And
it's not number 9 on mine.
I know. But you can't be mad at me with this.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
Unlike A Bug's Life, which you're. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
Peeved.
You go on to your number 9, and
Oh, now I'm at that was your number 8.
Sorry, that was my number 8.
Number
Go on to your
8.
8. Yes. Boy, when we have 15, you get very
yes
confused here. Your number 8.
My number 8 is a large number of the world's number 1. I feel like so, and that's Finding Nemo, a 2003 film directed by Andrew Stanton, co-director Lee Unkrich. Future director of Toy Story 3.
Yeah, he's all over everything now.
Lee's my man. I'm into everything.
Is he doing Coco? What's his next one? I'm sure he's doing something, right?
I think Toy Story 4.
Oh, he might be doing Toy Story 4. Yeah,
he's definitely doing. Oh, maybe he is doing Coco.
I don't know. It could be. I don't know. We're just guessing.
No, I don't know. I feel like I should
let's
know
just
that.
Go. We know Brad Bird is doing Incredibles 2, but it could be.
Yeah.
It's not Cars 3, so it's got to be Coco, Toy Story 4.
I want to say he is doing Coco.
Maybe he's not doing
that
anything.
sounds.
I don't know.
No, he's there. I saw him at the panel for Toy Story 1, and he's there.
Okay.
He's in the brain trust that we've talked about.
Finding Nemo for you.
Yeah, Finding Nemo is one that I remember when it came out, like everyone was obsessed to the point where I almost took that, like I felt like I needed to love it, and I didn't 100,000,000% love it. But in recent years, I've gone back and rewatched it, and I'm always reminded that it is a very great film. Great characters.
Did you say Andrew Stanton? Andrew Stanton directed this one, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes,
oh,
Andrew Stanton.
Because we mentioned Lee, so I didn't make sure we had the right director.
Yeah, Lee was just co-director.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Yeah. And soon to be a sequel, Finding Dory, which Dory is a character I think you can spin off, and it'll be interesting. I'm
Yeah, I'm
intrigued.
hoping. I like the character of Dory very much. I'm hoping that too much of Dory is not a bad thing. I'm
I
slightly
think it
concerned
looks
about
like
that.
they're going to introduce so many new
Sure.
characters, her, being her family, and that will be interesting.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think they'll give it enough new that it's not just going to be like Dory alone in the ocean, because
Right.
that could get a little kooky.
Yes, they won't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Survivor Dory,
Oh gosh,
or
yeah.
Castaway. I'm saying Castaway Dory,
On
the
her
Tom
own
Hanks movie.
island.
Yeah, yeah. With a little
Yes.
volleyball floating with. Anyway,
Okay.
sorry.
Rick's on his own island right now.
Yes, I am.
But yeah, Finding Nemo it is so funny, and it was one of the it was I would say the first Pixar film I remember, and maybe I was like middle school age when it came out, but it feeling like instant like cult, like people were going around like quoting it like mad, and you still get like Just Keep Swimming. When I did the last Disneyland half, there was someone
It's funny
shouting that.
that's a big line, and I've seen
There's a
Finding Nemo
lot of
bunch,
them.
but Just Keep Swinging
I
didn't
touched,
register
he
with
touched
me.
the butt.
You made a mention of Just Keep Swinging in the marathon several episodes ago, and I was like, it
Yes.
took me a minute to think about it. Like for some reason, for me, they use
And
it. They
that's
use it in
the
the poster.
tagline.
They
Yeah,
use it in the
she just
poster.
kept swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
because they knew it was loved.
Right.
But yeah, so that's
Okay,
Nemo
well,
for me, and I think it'll only continue to grow for me. And I think it was just that early like disconnect that I wasn't as obsessed as everyone else.
right.
But I think it's a strong film, and I think it'll stand the test of time. I'm making a bold prediction. I
Okay.
think Nemo's going to be around for a while.
I think a lot of these are. My number 7 is one that we talked about, which is Inside Out, right in the same middle category for me.
Okay.
This is a movie that I probably would have liked more. This maybe sounds wrong, but I would have liked more had I not heard so much good stuff. Like it was the second coming of Pixar.
We both, yeah, we
upstairs,
had that
and it
mutually.
really had a reaction. I thought it was so clever and Bing Bong and the idea of,
I loved Bing Bong.
yeah, I mean, it touched on me with my kids and them growing up, and so
Ugh.
there's a lot of emotional
Pete
parts
Doctor.
yeah, that's right. I understand.
He's
right?
a tear. He goes for the
Right. But that
the
said,
guttural.
I
You wanted more.
I wanted to like it more.
Yes.
I really liked it, but I thought I would love it, and
We're on
I
the
really
same
liked
page
it.
with
I
that
didn't
one.
love it,
Same page.
and we've talked about it. I don't think we need to stick on
To
it. But,
beat
yeah.
a Marcus or
A Maximus, beat a dead Maximus.
and that joke is dead. That joke's done.
Kind of like my career.
Mhm.
Anyway, so your number 7.
My number 7 is Monsters University, 2013, directed by Dan Scanlon.
All right, we have never mind. I already did Monsters University. Never mind.
University.
Yeah, University. High up, very high up. I mean,
Very high up.
I enjoy it, but high up.
Yes, and this is one where people were not as big a fan of it, and it was one where I was like, oh, I'm more into this than most people, or at least critically, it was not as acclaimed. It was not even nominated for an Oscar for Best Animated Film, which is very rare for Pixar, except when it comes to Cars. But yeah, Monsters University, I think, I saw it only being out of college, not even like a few years, but not even. I was barely out of college. So I really connected, and like all the college humor just felt I totally got it. And I remember I saw it with my cousins who at the time were in high school, and they were like, that was okay, blah, blah. And I knew that they just didn't get that part of it. Like that part of it did not connect. Like the second I love the intro. I think it's so charming. Again, this is Mike's story versus the first one being Sully's, and just the whole sweet story of him being on the field trip and getting the hat.
I think it's it's funny. I appreciate the stories that sometimes are just fun for fun's sake and don't have quite as much heart. I find Monsters University as well. I don't mean to make it sound like a bad thing, but I think it's one of the Pixar films that has the least amount of emotional center. There you have emotion and that sort of thing, but it really is kind of about the fun and the relationships and how they met, and while there's nice moments in it about coming together and believing in yourself and and fulfilling your dreams, I think overall it's a pretty surface story for Pixar. It's just kind of a fun thing.
I could kind of see that.
I'm not saying it doesn't have any emotional side. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
it's like they took
Pixar.
a different approach than their usual like deep heaviness.
For an animated
For
family
Pixar.
film. For an animated family.
Pixar.
Right, for an animated family film though, because a lot of animated family films aren't.
Almost every like DreamWorks movie you see is like surface level.
Not necessarily.
I don't know.
Kung Fu Panda.
It
I
feels
like
like it.
DreamWorks a lot more than you do.
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah.
Like you seem to really not like. But
And
I
I like
like.
Monsters University more than you do.
Well, I like them all. Yeah.
Music by Randy Newman. That's what it was. The whole collegiate score. The second there's that drum beat. I don't know. I loved the detail that went into them creating this university life, and it's so interesting. It's a prequel. You know, it's thought of as a sequel because it came later, but it really is a prequel, and they did a great job of of planting these little seeds, and you're like you think Randall's going to be, you know, you see him, you think he's going to be bad, and he's actually
Mr.
kind of like,
Nerdy
yeah, he's
guy.
nerdy and awkward,
Right.
and they really played around with our preconceptions.
Something that I don't know that I've talked about or but I'm not really a big fan of prequels in movies in general. I like not knowing where the story's going. That's half the fun of going to a movie. So this was okay as a prequel. This worked better. But
Yeah.
I'm not a big prequel guy. I really don't like the trend very much of because
I
what
think-
characters survive.
I think if it's done, yeah, I think it can be done well. I think it's tricky territory, and they just made it so fun with going back to the scare floor and showing like the old scarers and the old guys,
Right.
old timers. So there's just so many fun things
No,
that they took
I like
advantage
it.
of.
You know,
Yeah,
even though it was number 11 on my list,
Much
I
higher
do
up
enjoy
for
it.
me.
Yeah. But my number 6 is Monsters Inc. Is my number 6. It's why I thought for a second. No, I'm number 6
Monsters, Inc.
is a very high.
Now, yeah,
high
we're
rating.
getting into like
Yeah, the creme de
Holy
la
Grail
creme.
territory.
Yeah, right. Monsters Inc. is a really sweet movie wrapped inside of a colorful package with just characters that are kind
Pete
of
Doctor.
strange and wonderful. You know, 2001, I remember seeing it, and really, well before I had kids, just like Boo, and it was really a wonderful film. I like Mike and Sully. I like the world they set up. Is probably one of my favorite worlds.
Yeah.
they've set- if not my favorite world,
it's probably
my
the
favorite,
best world.
The best world they've set up.
The Doors.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean,
It's
the
just
Doors.
so clever. It's so clever, and it'd be higher up. But this story was very good. The world kind of elevates it more because I think other Pixar films do a better story, fill out the story better. But the world is just so amazing that I think it balances. What I see as just a good story meets a great world, a great animated Pixar world.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my.
It's it's coming up for me. We're getting
yeah,
near
we're
the
gonna-
end.
We're,
There
we're
aren't
starting
many
to cross
left.
over now here.
Yeah, a little bit.
You're number 6.
My number 6 is Wall-E. I love Wall-E. Love it. Andrew Stanton,
You
2008.
and most people besides me.
Yes, yeah, and most critics. Wall-E is one that they've always lauded Pixar with praise, but Wall-E is one where they took it to the next level. I remember reading articles, should Wall-E get a nomination for Best Picture at the Oscars, not just animated film, because it was considered such a great film of the year. And I actually didn't catch it in theaters.
Did it win best animated?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
yes.
it did. Right.
Yeah.
Most of them.
I mean,
most
it
of
almost
them
got
do.
nominated for Best Picture.
Let me. I don't. We don't have necessarily. It's hard to do, but
I know
but have,
pretty much.
Have well over. Have let's say 2/3 of the Pixar films won the best animated Oscar.
No, because the category didn't even exist until
right.
2001.
Well, I guess
believe.
since 2001, I guess.
So that's what makes it hard is that
Right.
it didn't exist for the first few.
Right.
I know there was like an honorary Oscar for John Lasseter for Toy Story 1. But yeah, so it's tough because it didn't. Yeah. But since it's existed, Pixar has dominated the category.
Right.
To answer
And
your
Wall-E
inquiry.
is often held to be the example of perfection in animation and
Yep.
Pixar and
Yeah.
Why do you love it? Why do you love it?
For so many reasons. Like I said, I didn't catch it in theaters, and I'm bummed I didn't. I think it would have been a really great one to see in theaters. I love science fiction. I was so impressed because I get bored if there's not dialogue, and the first 30 minutes there's no talking. It's just these robots connecting, and it's so human what's going on with Wall-E and Eve, but it's happening between robots. It's
Right.
just there's so much. It's just You could go on and on. It's a film you could break down. You could see like not theater professors, film professors, or just in college courses studying it because
Right.
it's so well done.
Yeah, maybe I just need to go back. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know that I'll go back and
You have a
instantly love it, but
big TV.
yeah.
Watch it on Blu-ray.
Right.
Like sharing your secrets with the
No,
world.
it's okay. It's okay. I will.
People are
we'll
gonna
see.
look
I'm
where
not
you
making
live
any
and steal your
promises,
TV.
but maybe one of these days I'll. I mean, there's so many movies I have to
On a
watch.
good screen. It's so beautiful. It looks so real, those stars. And I just
Right.
from the first moment, I was just last thing with the Hello Dolly song. It's a great big world out
Right.
there. It just pulls you in, and I love it. And I love the subtext story of thinking about our Earth
Were you
and
talking
how
about
we're
It's a
treating it.
Wonderful World or Hello Doll? I'm trying to remember that.
Hello Dolly. I was saying the line. I don't know the name of the song,
Right.
but it starts
It's a
out.
Wonderful World.
No.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Hello Dolly.
It's a great big world out there.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Louis
we'll have to
Armstrong.
look
The
it
Louis
up.
Armstrong song. I don't know. All right.
No, no.
Okay. I've seen
It's a
this. I
Dolly
haven't been a
song.
little while.
But but I was just saying, I love that the message of thinking about our Earth and what we're doing to it, and consumerism. There's just so many like layers to it that kids don't get. Maybe they do. Maybe
it's a
I'm
very-
calling out kids for being not
And
smart.
by no means do I mean this as an insult, but it's a very liberal message out there. It's a very pro environment, pro.
Yes,
just,
which I watched the director's commentary, and
Right.
they were like, we did not even, they didn't even realize they were doing,
Right.
it was not intentional. They're not like these crazy liberal Pixar
Sure.
people. They just were telling a story, and then you sit back and you look at it and you're like, oh, wait, that pertains to where we're at as a culture and as a world
Right.
so perfectly. So it's just interesting that that was not intentional. But
Right.
people are very quick to be like, Hollywood is telling us to plant a
Right,
tree and
right.
live off the earth.
as
But
people
yeah.
like to say. My number 5 is one that you talked about, and this is probably the last of my really good ones before we get into my absolute favorite love ones. Number 5 is Finding Nemo.
Okay.
We talked about this. It's a great film.
Mhm.
It's funny. It's just the story is weaved so expertly for something like the ocean to the outside the human world.
Mhm.
The characters are great. There's so many little like good set pieces within the water. They just do it.
Mine.
Yeah, I
mine.
love the seagulls. We talked about. I love the seagulls.
They're their own like merchandise
Yeah.
moment in
Yep.
Disney. I love it.
Yeah,
They
and
have the cups and everything.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I don't know that I can add any more, except that I just love the characters. I love the
so
story.
quotable,
Yeah, it's just it's
but
just a
not
wonderful
cheesy.
thing.
I mean,
No.
there's so much heart.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. So
You'd
I
think
don't.
Pete Docter directed it.
Well, you'd think Pete Docter directed.
He did not.
He did not. He did not.
Andrew
Just
Stanton.
yes.
Boom.
Yep. And our friend Lee again.
Oh yeah.
So
Lee.
co-director. So I don't want to beat a dead Maximus here. Let's go on.
Oh
to,
gosh, you brought it back.
I'm sorry. I
You
had
brought
to
it
do
back
one,
from the
one more
dead.
time. I just kind of like the sick nature of that, but it is wrong. Let's go to your number 5.
My number 5, a little bit of crossover here. Monsters Incorporated, 2001, directed by Pete Docter. There were 2 co-directors on that, but Pete was the main guy. That's yeah. Again, we've talked about it. I will just say about Monsters Inc. That was one
It was David Silverman and Lee Unkrich. by
Thank
the
you,
way, in
thank you.
case
I
it saved
ran
you.
out of paper room.
Okay,
No offense to them. I know you worked
lazy
hard on the
writing.
movie.
Yeah.
No, it's just a lot of co-directors. It was getting
There are a lot
lengthy.
of co-directors in Pixar world.
That's maybe why the movies are so great, or I don't know. But what was I saying? Oh, Monsters Incorporated is one. I remember seeing the teaser trailer for it, and it was just of Mike going in the room and then telling a joke to the kids. That was like the teaser was like, you think monsters are under your bed, and Pixar up to that moment had created the Toy Story world and the Bugs Life world. And so we had expectations. And I remember as a child being like, what world are they going to cut? Like, they just think of these worlds that we've never considered and they bring them to life. And they brought monsters. And it's like everyone as a child or has a moment where you're lying in bed and you're like, is there a monster in my room? And so it's just, and then to make monsters so lovable and the whole dynamic between the human world and that they're living off our fears and screams, it's just brilliant from A to Z. And when you see all those doors, That's
Yeah,
Pixar at its best.
Yeah,
And then they go into the doors in France and with the
it's
Yeti
wonderful.
and
It's
snow cones. It's just on and on.
the world building is amazing in that. I'll leave it at that. But we agree. These are all agreed. Now we're going to get into starting with my number 4. My
Two
four,
of ours. Two
we
of
have-
our 4 are overlapping.
Yeah, 4. Well, 1 through
Right?
4. Yeah, they're going
Yeah.
to 4 through 1 are 4 through 1 are going to be like they could almost be interchangeable to me. I mean, I have
Same.
feelings, but
Absolutely.
I'm going to start with number 4, which is one of the ones that is overlapping. Is Toy Story 3 is my number 4. That's I mean, it's the capper on a great trilogy. It really you don't have to be a certain age to get sort of as long as you're an adult. I think you get it. You get the message. You get the heart of that story. You know the characters. You've kind of grown up with these, no matter what age you are. It's just
or you've literally grown
it's an
up
amazing. I'm hard pressed to think of a third movie in a series of movies that is any better than what Toy Story 3. There might be some that are as good. I don't know, but boy oh boy, they did a great job with Toy
with them. They
Story 3.
being Lee Unkrich, in 2010.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just one, but like
He was the director.
is there a co-director? On
No, he
okay.
did it all by himself.
Right.
He made the entire movie.
It's all him. Nobody else did anything on it.
And
Yeah.
it was nominated for, it was the first Pixar movie. They expanded the Best Picture nomination to 10 that year.
And it was nominated, right?
Actually, Up did that first.
Oh, okay.
So Up, but then Toy Story
Right.
3 was nominated for
Yeah.
Best Picture and
So
won
great.
Best Animated
Such
Film.
such a great film. So I'll let you talk about it when we get to your. So
Yeah.
what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Toy Story 2, which I've already, given my praise to, and I'm
All
just
the
so
Toy Stories are going to be in this. Like that.
boom, boom, boom. Oh, that's the word I'm not allowed to say. I forgot the word I wasn't allowed to say. It just made sense.
It's been so long you forgot already.
Yeah, it has.
Okay.
I waited a while.
Okay.
I saved it. It just blows my mind when I hear the backstory of Toy Story 2. It's like the one they kind of cobbled together, and it's so good that they bring in Al's Toy Barn, which is mentioned in the first movie, and he's stolen, and they get the license plate, and Etch-a-Sketch has to, they're wrangling it to figure out what it is. He's like, I knew there was something about that man in a chicken suit. It's so funny. I'm very attached, as you'll see as it goes on, clearly to the Toy Story world that they've created and these characters. I just believe it. I think it's so well done. All the characters, there's so much heart there. And Andy with his toys, and
it's the best. I think we both agree. We agree on our love of Toy Story, the Toy Story universe. It's where Pixar started. Well, in the feature film, it's where they started, and for good reason. It has its rightful place on the, high up on the list of us, and I think a lot of people out there. So
yes.
We know that. So my number, may I go to my number 3?
You may.
Okay, my number 3 is one that Briers, kind of put down a little earlier, although she didn't put it down. The Incredibles. The Incredibles was my number 3.
Okay.
That wasn't Ratatouille. Ratatouille is coming. And The Incredibles is number 3. I love the superhero genre film. I love what's going on with Marvel, DC, and this is like Pixar's version of their spin on the superhero thing, done so expertly by Mr. Brad Bird.
BB.
Yeah, Brad Bird, and it's near perfection for what superheroes would look like in the Disney Pixar universe. I like
or Big
Mr.
Hero
Incredibles.
6.
Oh no, I like Big Hero 6
Yeah,
too.
I love Big
I
Hero
love Big
6.
Hero 6. But being this is a Pixar list,
Right.
It's just it's just so good. We've talked about the characters, and I don't know what more can I say about this film. I love it. I love everything about it. That it's too much to say. I do like the interaction. I love their normal life.
Where is my super suit?
Yeah, right. Frozone.
I don't know where it is. Love
It's
that
just.
part.
I don't. I could go on and on. I'm not going to. We've talked about. I will fight to the wounding to somebody
use
who
your
says they
superpowers.
don't like. It's okay if you don't think it's your favorite, but if you don't like this
to
film,
dislike it.
you have no soul. And I feel that way about probably all 4 of these films that we're
Yeah,
not
I
talking
feel
about.
that way about my top
Like, just
as well.
If you don't like it, I'm sorry.
You are
I'm done talking
missing
to you. So
a part of your
right.
heart.
And I can't wait for the sequel. I so rarely really look forward to an animated film. I think Incredibles 2, I'm really looking forward to more
I
so
would
than
say
any
that
animated
about
film.
a little film called Toy
Toy
Story
Story 4.
4.
Yeah, but you're nervous about it too. We've talked about that.
Less, the more I hear about it, I'm like, it's in good hands.
Right.
They claim vehemently that they would not make it unless they felt like the story was there.
Right. Well, we'll see.
I know. Maybe I'm just too optimistic. But
No, it's good to
3,
be
I was nervous
optimistic.
about 3. I was
3 was. Yeah, I was never
and
never
I
thought
was.
about it.
I
but
was nervous about 3.
4, I'm definitely
because
3
I
was
love
so
1
good.
and 2 so much.
Right. See, 3. Now I'm nervous because 3 was so
I
good.
know.
So your number.
Speaking
your number
of,
3.
my
yes,
number
here
3
comes
is
another
Toy
Toy
Story
3.
3.
Right.
And it could. I struggle with the toys, especially 1 and 3. I agree. 2 is maybe the one. As much as I adore it, 1 and 3 could be my number 1 any day of the week. 3 gets me the most on the emotional level when Andy gives his toys away. Spoiler alert, if anyone missed it back in 2010, Andy gives his toys away to a little girl in his neighborhood, Bonnie, who as much as people love Boo, I'm sorry, Bonnie takes the cake for me. I think she's adorable and clearly has imagination for days because she takes good care of her toys, even though she's like pretty young to be playing at that level. And just, from like a psychological standpoint with children, I'm impressed by Bonnie. I am so glad I saw it in 3D so that the glasses could hide my tears so people wouldn't think I'd been like beaten. This is probably like mascara
I think
running
so
down
many people
my
had
face.
tears in that film.
Oh my
right?
gosh. Whew. It's
what an ending. I mean, like such a good ending.
Yeah, talking about Up being so great at the beginning. I mean, Toy Story 3.
I'd rather end well than start well.
Yes,
That's
but
just,
I mean the whole film throughout with Sunnyside. I love Lotso's one of my favorite characters because he's a villain with such a great like backstory that you understand why he kind of became as bitter as he did and why he has that cane and smells like strawberries and all of it. There's just so many fun details, and it's such an interesting thing talking about I get nervous with sequels. And Toy Story 3 was, let's see, Toy Story 2 was 1999, so 2010.
Yeah.
So that's...
Oh, you want to do the math here?
11
years? you
Yeah.
have it? Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I get
Yes,
scared.
no,
I
you
get
got it
scared
right.
when
No,
I make
2000?
math.
Yeah, so
11 years.
Okay.
11-year gap, and they aged the human characters kind of according to that. And for there to be that big of a gap and it feel like there's not is amazing. Excellent. Kudos to Pixar. Well done, Leon Critch. Well-deserved Oscar. And well-deserved Best Picture nomination.
Yes.
It's just such a good movie.
Yeah.
The whole escape scene, Spanish Buzz. I mean, I could go on and on.
It seems to me when you lose faith in Pixar after a few films, they just come roaring back with something.
Mhm.
Not that they were in a bad funk when Toy Story 3 came out. I just think that
No,
they
it was
just
following
they
Up
have,
and Wally, so
right,
they were okay.
Yeah, they just come back. If they have
Yeah.
a couple of things that are just good, not great, and then they have bam,
Yeah,
and some would argue that Inside Out is that film this time. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, but
for sure.
that's Toy Story 3 certainly like resophize. Wow, these guys
Ugh.
do it again, of course.
Toy Story 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So my number 2, and I know we're gonna end in the same number 1, but so my number 2 is
you don't know.
I know you're gonna be Bugs Life next, and I'm gonna be Ratatouille
Okay,
next.
let's. Whoa!
Okay.
Spoiler
Okay.
alert! Scrooge in the building.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I
You-
wrong? Am
you
I
st-
wrong?
You might.
Am I wrong?
Maybe I enjoy saying it and making the announcement.
Oh, okay. I take it back.
But you could be wrong.
Okay. It's not going to be a Bug's Life next for Briers. My number 2 is Ratatouille. Talked a little bit about this. This movie, while it's about a rat and there is some kind of craziness, zaniness going on, it's surprisingly more adult in a lot of ways. Patton Oswalt is the voice of Ratatouille, of Remy, excuse me, and I always want to call him Ratatouille, of Remy. And this film is, I like cooking. I mean, I'm not a good cook, but I like the idea of in the kitchen. I like the idea that anybody can cook.
I like the
I like
idea of
eating.
someone
I
being
like
in the kitchen.
I like fine dining. I like what this story is about. I like
Bon
the message
appetit.
that you can do. You can't be told what you can do. You just go out and do it.
Anyone can cook.
Right. And so I think this film is surprisingly mature for Pixar, for an animated film.
I think all
love it.
Pixar films are so.
Yeah, but this one in particular, I think,
I see what you mean.
is a little bit more.
It is a
because
French.
it's about a
It is in
it's about a
France.
rat. It's
Of
about a rat,
course.
and you think it's going to be one thing, and it's kind of something else. And I can see how people might be bored by it, might not spark to it as much, but I think it's a brilliant film, and
It's great.
it's a wonderful film. And I've said that, so
You
that's
and
my
my
number
mom
two.
should
All right,
hang out.
good. Go
My
Briers'
mom,
mom. She
it's-
loves Ratatouille.
We accidentally owned 3 copies at one point. She was
All
like,
right.
"What? Well, how'd that happen?" Because I could just
I
see her
met
in
your
Target.
mom. I like your mom, but I
see
like
her
her
in
even
Target
more
being
now.
like, "Oh, we probably don't own this. We need to own." Like, no, we have a copy.
Right.
Calm down.
Yay,
So,
yay, mom.
yeah, if
All
you
right.
need an extra copy of Ratatouille,
I'm
hit
good.
up
Thank
the
you.
Newmans.
Good taste, mom. Good taste, Briers' mom. Your number 2 is it's not A Bug's Life, I'm sure, right?
Oh, I'm gonna shock you a
It's
little.
Toy Story.
It is A Bug's Life.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
1998, directed by John Lasseter, co-director Andrew Stanton.
I really just wanted to end on a happy note that we're going to be in the same number 1.
Which I think we knew from
Kind
some
of.
previous
We never talked about this.
discussions.
Previous
This is we have not planned
our
this.
list, right? So your number
Um,
2 was
My number 2 is your 14?
my number 13.
So kind of opposites, but whatever. No, it's fine. I don't always put. Usually, my top 2 are Toy Story movies, so it made a little tiny jump. I recently rewatched this, and I think that just cemented it further for how much I adore it. I don't know if there's a film, maybe except for the Toy Story films, that I laugh at as much. I think it's so funny and so quotable, and maybe because it's a little underrated, I feel the need to stand
Sure.
up for it, kind of
Yeah.
like how Flick feels the need to
Right.
stand up to the grasshoppers.
And maybe I feel that way about Ratatouille as well, so it makes sense. to
But
me.
I don't think Ratatouille is as underappreciated as A Bug's
Okay,
Life.
yeah.
A Bug's Life is
I can see that.
one of the bottom 5.
You're right.
I remember being offended when I was really young because, they always will go back to previous films. And I remember seeing the teaser trailer for Cars, and they literally said, "From the makers of Toy Story and Monsters, Inc. and The Incredibles and Finding Nemo," and they skipped A Bug's Life. And I was like, those people made A Bug's Life too. Why are you not quoting A Bug's Life? And clearly they didn't feel the need to.
You were
'cause
like
of-
your 7-year-old say you.
No, I was a little, let's see,
Jerks.
I was actually in high school.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for making me
No,
feel so
you're
young. I
welcome,
like
you're
that.
welcome. I'm
And I
trying,
wouldn't
trying.
have been born when Toy Story came out. I like that. I dig that. But yeah, I remember at the time already feeling defensive of A Bug's Life. The music, as I've brought up in previous episode, by Randy Newman, not related. One can dream. The story, I think there's so much heart, and when they build the bird, and it's funny, and there are few films I can watch that many times and still enjoy,
Right.
and A Bug's Life is on that list.
Right. Oh well. I mean,
You need to rewatch
That's
it.
why we're different. I mean, I haven't
On your new
watched it. It's a
TV.
little while. I haven't watched. But I know
I'm
that
gonna bring my copy.
I know I'm gonna go back and
over to your
I've
house.
seen it several times. Just been a while since I've seen it. It's
think
okay. It's
we-
okay for me.
I want you to watch it again.
I don't think
you'll
it's gonna
chuckle.
change them. I don't think I can. Doesn't mean I hate it. Remember, it doesn't mean I hate it. I've watched it enough to know I think it's okay, but I don't love it. And I don't think Wally I could see watching again, and maybe I'll appreciate it more. A Bug's Life, I'm pretty firm in my feelings. I just think it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I want you to watch it again. I just one more time. Give it one more shot.
Was something
Everyone
magic
out
gonna
there.
Change?
Maybe. Well, I think we'll see. We'll see. I'm
All
optimistic,
right, yeah,
just like
yeah.
Flick.
Yeah. Well, speaking of optimism and coming together, our number ones is Toy Story, the original Toy Story.
Well,
right?
actually, there's a film that no one saw. No, yeah.
Yeah. What are you talking about? This is throwing me for.
No.
We have talked about our love for Toy Story. Toy Story is what started the feature.
1995.
Our
directed by
man,
John
Our man John Lasseter. While I won't say it's movie perfection, it is amazing for what it is. The story is so imaginative. The animation is so cool. You got a friend in me.
Randy Newman.
Right. It's
Again,
just,
unrelated, but I'm not clear we're unrelated. I could keep tracing our family histories.
You're beating a dead Maximus again.
No, I'm optimistic that I'm related to Randy Newman.
But it was the characters. I love the interaction between Woody and Buzz, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. Great voice acting in that movie. And it just it's
the world, they establish this world and they never veer from it. You always feel like you're in Andy's room, Andy's toys, and this whole the new guy comes in, and the cowboy's pushed to the side for the space toy,
Right.
and
I
Sid and his sister
Sid is.
Hannah.
I don't
and
know if I've
everyone.
mentioned this before, but I worked in the movie theater briefly, and it was
When
around
this film was released.
when this film was released, and I have a teaser poster that's numbered. It's back home, back east. I gotta get it
Oh
before
my
something happens to
gosh.
it. But I don't know how
Wait, I
valuable
want
it
it.
is, but it's yeah.
Wait, if you don't care enough to
I
have
do
it in
care
your
about
own
it.
home.
It's just back east
Well,
right now.
if you
at
don't
my
care
family's
enough,
house.
you've let it sit there
Yeah,
for years.
but
I think
I
it's
have
time you give it a new home.
but that's how much I love the film. I remember back then, just I want this poster, and I
Oh.
took the poster. I asked,
I
they
was
let
too
me have it.
young
And
to be stealing posters.
it is one of my more prized movie possession that's rolled up and
it's rolled
protected,
up.
rolled up and
Sounds
protected.
very
Well,
prized.
It's not folded up. I don't know. We'll see what condition
You
it
need
is.
to find it.
Next time I'm home, I'll try to go find it. I gotta
You're going
remember.
home for the holidays.
No, I'm going. Well, not my house. My family, my in-laws.
Can someone mail it to you? Come on, it's 2015.
I'll look into it.
I'm gonna get on
I'll
now
look
that
into
I
it.
know. I did not
I know.
realize this has never been revealed to me.
It's awesome because if I remember correctly,
Breaking news.
if I remember correctly, it's like you see the feet of
of
Buzz going
Buzz.
up, but I don't know. You see his head, and Woody might be hanging. I can't remember exactly what
Oh,
it is.
like the moment at the end when they're
maybe.
riding Rex.
I just can't remember what it is. I just remember it, but it's a teaser. It's a teaser poster. It's not the full on.
Love
It's
it.
numbered. They don't
Even
number
better.
posters
Those are
anymore.
the
I don't
better.
think. So it's cool.
I mean,
cool.
it's
really
from
like it.
1995.
Yeah,
It's 20
correct.
years old.
It is. Yeah. Wow, it's old.
Yeah, I just went to at D23. I made sure to get into the 20-year panel.
That's right.
Which just further cemented my love.
So I'm curious where the Good Dinosaur is gonna appear on this list. Is it gonna be more along the lines of Cars 2? Is it gonna be kind of in that
in the middle,
inside out area, or is it gonna be in the upper echelons with Ratatouille? Well, for me, Ratatouille and Toy Story.
I think we're both realistic enough to. I think we would be very surprised if it made it into our top 5 or 6 feel like something's gonna have to come out of left field.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be wonderful. And
yeah,
they've had the test of time. This is a brand new film. Notice that my top 4, the newest film I have is from 2007, which is it's Toy Story
2010.
2010.
Toy Story 3. Same.
It's Toy Story 3. So that's my
yeah, and then prior to that, it's 2001. 9 years.
Wow. Oh,
yeah.
you have all the Toy Stories in your.
Yes,
right, okay.
and A Bug's Life. I have a lot of the early 90s. Yeah.
And I'm kind of a mix, a little more of a mix.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's fair to say that we're
Toy
big
Story
fans.
cannot be beat.
Briers, you feel satisfied by this list? I know this is.
I
like
do.
Your thing.
I just love ranking the Pixar films. For anyone who's a Pixar fan, I challenge you, go up to friends. You'll be so surprised. Like a friend that you least expect will make Brave their number 1, and you're like, I'm looking at you so differently now.
This was probably one of our earliest conversations was about our ranking of. We didn't go over, but we kind of talked about what we love about Toy Story and what our
I guess
favorite.
Toy Story is always
we talked about pretty early on.
Come up.
Yeah. So
it's just so great.
Well, that's good. I'd love to hear your thoughts on our list and your thoughts on the Good Dinosaur. The Good Dinosaur, and everybody have a great Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah.
Enjoy your time off.
Use that word "great" during our great Pixar episode. How appropriate.
Or at least good.
I guess for this, do we want to say use the hashtag top 15 Disney Click? We'll see. So if you want to share your top 5 this week, use top 15.
Or if you do
use top 5.
Or you could do a hashtag the Disney Click and we'll get it too.
Yeah.
So we're flexible here.
We are very flexible. Technology is what's flexible. I don't know what's us.
Right. Anyway, guys, it's been fun.
Yes.
Enjoy. Have a great week.
Yeah. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And we'll see you soon.
Take care.
The Disney Click is a Meltdown Presents production, produced by Terri Lubaroff and Mason Booker. Audio engineer, the miracle worker, Mason Booker, with your hosts, Rick Lubaroff and Briers Newman. Our theme song, King of the Swingers, is performed by the Swing Ninjas and provided by freemusicarchive.org. Jazzy Frenchie is our break music and can be found on bensound.com. End credit music Dill Pickles is performed by the Heftone Banjo Orchestra and provided by freemusicarchive.org. Don't forget to tweet us at The Disney Click. You can also follow us on Instagram at The Disney Click. Use the hashtag Top5 Disney Click to share your own Top 5.